They can go in and just assassinate people. The other way to do it would be to go around the city of Kyiv and to lay siege, to envelop that city and basically strangle it. Just turn off the power, turn off the water, and wait for the government to surrender.
I wasn't going to leave. We just thought it wasn't gonna turn out like this.
It's hard. It's hard to imagine what they feel there, and they can't escape. They just have to sit there and wait. It's nightmare. It is nightmare.
You heard it there, a nightmare. That last girl you saw there has been living here in Jacksonville for about 5 years, and she tells us she is worried that her friends and family members won't survive that attack there in Ukraine. Welcome in, I'm Keitha Nelson.
I'm Lewis Turner. The latest casualty count has more than 100 Ukrainians dead, 300 injured. Russia, by the way, has not released any reports of their casualties. Doesn't mean there aren't any. It just means they have not released any reports.
And folks, just to give you some perspective on just how difficult the situation is for the Ukrainian military, this is what a victory looks like. Authorities there say that they shot down a Russian plane and it crashed into this apartment building, and you can see just how bad the damage is as firefighters work to contain that blaze. 3 people were injured, and it's not quite clear as yet if the Russian plane was manned or unmanned.
So right now, Ukrainians facing a 3-front war coming into their country. So here's the map of the invasion so far. Russia only borders Ukraine here in this very, very small section on the east side of Ukraine. Of course, this yellow region is a contested region of Russian sympathizers already. However, naval sources able to come out of the Black Sea. Also, Crimea, which is an annexed region of Russia as well. 8 years ago, you'll remember, Russia made that first chess piece move of coming into Crimea. Russia also able to enter the country from Belarus. So you see Kyiv there, the capital city, just north where that far northern red arrow is, Belarus, a country friendly to Russia. Russia able to bring tanks in there in an effort to take control of the capital city. That tank column is mentioned just some 20 miles from the outskirts of Kyiv as last reported. All right, spreading out just a little bit though, providing some background on this. This is NATO in blue, all your NATO nations there. One of the reasons President Vladimir Putin of Russia has given, one of those reasons for attacking Ukraine was to prevent the nation, their neighbor, from joining the NATO nations, of course, to the west, and that includes the United States. One of the main rules of NATO, if your country is attacked, if you're a member country, all other countries in NATO must come to your aid. As you can see, that does include everyone from Turkey all the way to the United States. Becoming a member nation has been a big goal for the current Ukrainian president as well. They became an enhanced opportunity partner. That's on their way to become a member, but NATO still has reforms that Ukraine must make in order to join. Now, with this war raging, will that even be a possibility anymore?
You know, so the big question for military members and their families here in the United States, will I have to deploy? So President Biden has declined to take part in any military action to defend Ukraine. Let's make that clear. But he is sending troops to support NATO ally Germany. 7,000 troops from Fort Stewart are preparing to leave. It's about 2 hours north of downtown Jacksonville. We're told the deployment is coming from the 1st Armored Brigade Combat Team 3rd Infantry Division, and they will be based out of Germany. So instead of military action, Western nations are hitting Russia with major economic sanctions, you've likely heard, and those are already taking effect. The stock market in Russia collapsed over the past 36 hours with $250 billion in stock gone. The ruble, the main currency in Russia, hit a record low just yesterday. And as we have mentioned, anytime anyone on that list of sanctions does business in the U.S. or the European nation, their assets are frozen. Major sporting events are responding as well. In the past few hours, we have learned the Champions League final has been moved from St. Petersburg to Paris.
Thousands of people all over the globe held protests as well, speaking out against the Russian invasion. People protesting even in Russia. And of course, that's extraordinarily dangerous for them. In the U.S., folks marching and demonstrating from New York to Chicago and L.A. as well in support of Ukraine and its residents. The video on your right, though, is protests in the heart of Moscow. And that means people are risking their lives, frankly. Hundreds of them showing up, speaking out. 700 people have been arrested in more than 50 Russian cities.
So with a war like this one, millions of people could be without a home in the coming months. And now refugee groups around the world are waiting to see if this triggers another refugee crisis.
So could some Ukrainians come here to North Florida, make it their new home, or at least a place to stay until things are safe to go back to their country? On your side's Renata Gregorio joining us live with the latest this morning. Good morning, Renata.
Good morning. Reports show that 25 Ukrainians have moved here to Florida in nearly a year and a half. So Lutheran Social Services here, this is where they come to when they come to Northeast Florida to help them resettle, restart their lives here. And the director tells me they just had a couple move here on Friday to come and live with their son. But what happens to the rest of the people still in the pipeline who have not moved here yet? Well, the director is unsure.
So we do see individuals traveling in that program right now. We've had a few families come in over the past few weeks, and then we have a few more that's already booked for travel in the coming weeks.
Ukrainians are reportedly one of the top groups of refugees to resettle in the U.S. in recent years, outnumbering Syrian refugees 8-1 in 2019. Laura Cook with Lutheran Social Services helps them start their new lives.
The time they step off the airplane is when our services start.
Ukrainians often enter the U.S. through the Lautenberg program, a Soviet-era amendment allowing people from the former Soviet Union who are religious minorities to reunite with family in the U.S. Cook says the process takes 2 years and that the program has not been renewed this year.
We have lots of people calling, hey, can I fill out this application with you? And we're like, oh, sorry, it's not open yet. I actually had an appointment today and I had to cancel it because the application's still not open.
The White House has to renew that program. As for Lutheran Social Services here, their hands are really tied until the refugees are at their doors. Live in Jacksonville, Renata Gregorio, First Coast News, on your side.
Thanks for that, Renata. And folks, we're going to have much more of the invasion throughout the show here on Good Morning Jacksonville, obviously throughout the day on First Coast News.
For sure. Lauren Roundcrantz standing by as a look at our forecast this morning. Hello, Lauren.
Hey, good morning. Luke, Keitha, everyone else waking up with us on this Friday. Once again, we're starting off with the fog. Some of it is dense in pockets, especially across North Florida. We've got that visibility that's dropped to a 1/4 mile in Palm Coast, a 1/4 mile in Lake City, and that's when it's really tricky to see the car in front of you. All right, so Katie's going to have traffic in just a bit, but first things first, we've got those lower and middle 80s. It is feeling nice and warm out there, and record warmth expected today. Nice and dry as far as the roadways go. We're just dealing with those low clouds and the fog. That's going to clear up after 9 a.m. and we've got a beautiful day in store. Temperatures again in the mid to upper 80s for inland areas, but with that warm southwest breeze, even the beaches getting into the lower 80s. Now let's get you over to Katie in the UF Health Traffic Center.
Good morning. Your time is 6:38. We are taking a quick look here towards I-95 near the exit for the Main and the Acosta Bridges. Beautiful sunrise there in the distance. And I-95, this is the southbound side. That is the northbound side. And you can see both are moving up to speed. So that is great. Still a yellow light to start this morning because you could see some fog out there. Let's take a look here at our visibility. So those of you towards the St. Augustine area or Palm Coast, you guys definitely have lower visibility. And those of you out towards Lake City, be careful, only a 1/4 mile visibility there. And even Palatka, only 3-mile visibility as well. So use those low beams. Give yourself a little bit of extra time out there this morning. Traveling around the 295 loop, it looks like things are moving up to speed and no reports of problems for you all in Clay County.
Katie, thank you. 6:39 right now, Friday morning. Let's get in your fast lane. The Jacksonville Sheriff's Office investigating a shooting on West 25th Street. Happened around 7 o'clock last night. Investigators say the victim was taken to the hospital to be treated with non-life-threatening injuries. No word yet on a suspect.
Well, investigators have increased the reward for information related to the death of a Jacksonville Beach man to $13,000. They tell us 33-year-old Jared Britigan he was shot and killed in front of his 2-year-old daughter. The shooting happened last week in the area of Sanctuary Way North. Now that money comes from Crime Stoppers and the Bureau of Alcohol and Tobacco Firearms and Explosives.
Downtown Investment Authority moving ahead in its search for developers to build up a prime piece of riverfront property, talking about the former site of the Landing. Already set for $1.7 million for a park developed there. Jacksonville Daily Record reporting the plans now also call for a high-rise building with retail space and a restaurant there.
So this is pretty interesting. Is your car easier to steal than others? A Jacksonville man had his car stolen right out of his driveway. The alarm didn't go off and he was sound asleep inside of his home.
So he reached out to First Coast News for answers. Leah Shields live for us verifying this morning. Hello, Leah.
Good morning. Well, Bobby Walker realized his car was stolen. Police recovered it, found a back window smashed out. Inside the front, the steering column taken apart, which appears to be how the thieves got his car out of his driveway.
Apparently, in many areas across the country, Kias and Hyundais of a certain model year, there's a security flaw. They're very easy to break into and steal. And it was a Kia. I mean, I love my Kia. I'm not disparaging the brand, but come on, you know?
Now, this is what Bobby Walker's car looked like when police recovered it. With some quick Google searching, it does appear that Kias and Hyundais have been targeted in cities like Milwaukee, Wisconsin and Columbus, Ohio in 2021. So I dug deeper and it's found out that Milwaukee Police Department actually passing out steering locks to help people protect their property. But is this a problem locally? Well, at this time, I'll have to say no, it is not. My sources are the National Insurance Crime Bureau and the General Manager for Auto Basics here in Jacksonville, Scotty Manson. NCIB reports the most frequently stolen vehicle in Florida and Georgia is a Ford pickup. Manson says he is not aware of certain cars being targeted. He does believe maybe older cars might be easier to break into, though, of course, Bobby's car was a 2020, so you never know. Manson says the best way to protect yourself, of course, lock your car and then always take out any valuables that are in your car. And Manson does say if a thief is going to smash your car window to get in, well, they're going to do it no matter what make or model your car is. Leah Shields, First Coast News, on your side.
Welcome to The Buzz. I'm McKenna Rodriguez. Let's take a look at your top weekend events. The 7-time Tony Award-winning musical Cats is live in Jacksonville at the Times Union Center with several shows throughout the weekend. If you want to check out the play tonight at 8, you've got to purchase those tickets online by 3 p.m. today. Bold City Con kicks off today at the Regency Square Mall. The pop culture convention will feature dozens of celebrity guests from films, comics, and video games, with plenty of gaming, vendors, and artists. It starts today at 1 and ends Sunday at 6. Day passes start at $25. The 13th annual Lift Every Voice and Sing concert will put a bow on the Black History Month. In Jacksonville, the concert is Saturday, doors open at 1:30, show starts at 2 at the Hendricks Avenue Baptist Church. Saturday and Sunday, enjoy the 30th World of Nations celebration at Metropolitan Park downtown. The 2-day event features food, art, and cultural experiences from dozens of countries around the world. The celebration runs Saturday from 10 to 7 p.m. and Sunday to 6 p.m. The Community First Seawalk Music Festival at Jax Beach starts Saturday and Sunday at noon. Tickets are still available starting at $30. Calling all craft beer lovers, Sunday from 1 to 4, stop by the 8th annual Riverside Craft Beer Festival. Try more than 100 craft beers from local, regional, and national breweries while enjoying food and music. You can purchase a general admission ticket at the gate for $55, and if you bring a designated driver, they don't have to pay to get in. With your Buzz, I'm McKenna Rodriguez. We'll have more weather and traffic right after the break. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome in, folks, on this Friday morning. You're watching Good Morning Jacksonville. Let's get right to the 3 things you'll need to know here on GMJ.
All right, first, big news. Overnight, Russian forces reaching the outskirts of the Ukrainian capital city of Kyiv. At least 100 Ukrainians have died. 300 are injured. The president of the country has asked for international aid to fend off the attack. President Biden has now ordered 7,000 troops to Germany, a NATO ally. They'll be coming from Fort Stewart, Georgia, to defend NATO nations from further aggression.
Well, sources familiar with the matter say President Biden has decided on his Supreme Court nominee, and that announcement could be as soon as today. The president recently interviewed 3 finalists to fill the vacancy left by Justice Stephen Breyer. This is when he retired. He will retire later on this year. We heard the announcement earlier this year from the federal judges. So here we go. So Ketanji Brown Jackson and J. Michelle Childs and California Supreme Court Justice Leonard Leandra Kruger. Those are the 3 finalists at this point for this new position.
All guilty verdicts handed down in a Minnesota courtroom yesterday afternoon against 3 of the other officers who've been charged in connection with George Floyd's death. They were charged with depriving Floyd of his right to medical care when fellow officer Derek Chauvin pressed his knee into Floyd's neck, ultimately killing him.
That video is still chilling to see even to this day. All right, folks, we want to check in now with meteorologist Lauren Routenkrantz for a look ahead to your forecast because, Lauren, yes, the weekend is finally here. We have earned it.
Oh, we sure have, Keitha. And you know what? We were talking about ending off the work week on a very steamy note. Temperatures today will be near those record highs, our warmest day since October 22nd. All right, we have deserved it. And actually, it's our longest stretch of 80s consecutively since early October. Today at the beach, some of us even sneaking quickly into those lower 80s before that sea breeze will take hold. Starting off with the sea fog out there, surf around 2 feet. High tide right around 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Tonight, downtown, icemen are back, calm, clear, sunset at 6:22, and it's going to be about 77 degrees still by then. So you definitely can keep those sweaters at home. The heat only easing off this weekend, won't be as steamy. We'll feel some cooler north breezes with mid to upper 70s on Saturday, popping back to 80 on Sunday ahead of another approaching front, cooling us off into early next week. But it's the weekend, like Keitha mentioned, so let's look at some of these events real quick. Ortega River Run Saturday morning is looking great for the runners, but a quick warm-up is in store. World of Nations, mid-70s by the time you're headed out there Saturday and Sunday, and it's going to look nice and pleasant out there, all right? Seawalk Music Festival is good as well, just a touch cooler, of course, along the coast. There's your 7-day forecast, and again, cooling off with a few showers by early next week.
Good morning. Happy Friday. Your time right now is 6:49. I hope you guys are feeling great on this Friday. Quick look here towards the Dames Point Bridge. Not seeing any delays or any problems for drivers, but you can see some of the haziness there and watching some of the visibility. There is fog out there. So Lake City, you got about 5 miles of visibility. St. Augustine, only about 3/4 of a mile visibility. And those of you headed further south towards Palm Coast, 1/4 mile visibility. So be careful there along I-95 in St. Johns County. Now, if you are traveling maybe along I-95 just in the Jacksonville area, headed towards downtown, not seeing any problem on your downtown bridges. Buckman Bridge there looks just fine. So does I-95 through the south side of town. Georgia, have not heard of any problems on your roadways either, so that is great. I-95 headed towards Brunswick, even though it looks like you have a minor delay right here. Haven't heard of any crashes, but of course you can always follow me on Twitter, #Katie's Commuters.
Thanks for that, Katie. Your time right now is 6:50 on this Friday morning. Taking you back now to the Ukraine invasion. At the top of the show, we mentioned how important the NATO alliance is for that developing situation, specifically Article 5. So that key measure means other NATO nations come to the defense of each other in the event of a military attack. But what about a cyber attack? You see, the White House press secretary was asked if that could drag the U.S. into a war with Russia. Take a listen.
That, again, is up to the NATO alliance to determine, but obviously a cyber attack does constitute an attack, so that would certainly be a point of discussion among the NATO members.
Okay, this is important. So the chair of the Senate Intelligence Committee also commented on that scenario. He said if Russia attacks certain systems in Ukraine, that could spread to Poland, a NATO member nation, and back here at home. Now, the Homeland Security Department is urging American companies and local governments to act now to secure their networks. A lot to pay attention to here, folks.
Yep, update those smartphones. I'm telling you, get those security updates. 6:51 is your time. Your GMJ on the go. Coming up next, all the top headlines you'll need before you head out on this Friday. And before we do go to break, another live look. Let's go to Kyiv. This morning, Russian forces already on the outskirts, at last report some 20 miles just outside of the capital city as they push forward. We'll see what kind of moves they would make, if they're just going to surround the city and create a choke point or go right on in. We've got another update in 2 minutes. .53 right now. Let's get you out the door with your GMJ on the go, starting with the invasion in Ukraine.
We want to get right out to On Your Side, Renata Gregorio with a look at things and how it can affect us right here at home.
how many Ukrainian refugees could come restart their lives here in Northeast Florida. Reports show that in the past almost a year and a half, only 25 people from Ukraine have moved here. Here at Lutheran Social Services, they're the ones who help them resettle. The director of resettlement tells me they had a couple move here on Friday to come live with their son, and more are in the pipeline who have not moved here yet. So what happens to those people? The director is unsure. Renata DiGregorio, First Coast News, on your side.
Well, the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office is now investigating a shooting that happened on West 25th Street right at about 7 o'clock last night. Investigators say the victim was taken to the hospital to be treated with non-life-threatening injuries. There's no word yet on a suspect. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention is expected to relax its indoor mask guidance today. Most states have either already lifted their indoor masking mandates or plan to. The change would be the first revision to the agency's indoor mask guidance since July. The Florida House passes a bill limiting discussions on sexual orientation and gender identity in the classroom. The bill stops school districts from teaching the subject from kindergarten through the 3rd grade.
Downtown Investment Authority is moving ahead in its search for developers to build up a prime piece of real estate on the river, of course, the site of the former landing. Jacksonville Daily Record reporting that site is already set for a $1.7 million park, but now a plan is also calling for a high-rise building and retail space and a restaurant.
Ooh, I know we love us some good renderings. Hey, let's take a look at that 7-day forecast. Temperatures today going to be hitting that record of 86 degrees, and we're 10 degrees cooler on Saturday, but hey, still above average. A nice warm weekend, sunshine, and enjoy because it gets cooler with some showers around by Monday.
Oh, Lauren, the weekend looks awesome.
Yes.
And looking out there along the Dames Point Bridge, it looks really good going across our bridges at the moment. Some haziness where you could see fog, especially those of you towards St. Johns County. So be careful out there this morning.
A quick shout out to the Creekside girls soccer team. They are headed to the state tournament for the first time ever. This is video of their incredible upset over rival Bartram Trail. Bartram was on a 32-game winning streak. Ouch! And they were the defending state champs. In about 2 hours, the school will hold a pep rally on campus to send them off in style. Of course, First Coast News will be there. We'll bring you updates throughout the day on our First Coast News. It's going to be a fun time. Congratulations to those girls. I love it.
Not only that winning streak on the line for Bartram, but I mean, those schools, if you're not really familiar with it, they are so close to each other. I'm talking, they share neighborhoods. Those girls are all friends with each other. You know what I mean? I mean, they see each other when they're not. So again, big time rivalry in that. So good for Creekside for sure. Congratulations to them. So much more coming up. We got the Today Show, Good Morning America, right here at 7 o'clock when we're done, but we're back with another group of headlines in 30 minutes.